Hello, my name is Not Lammers, I'm Invoked 101, and I am here with another Soul Fusion update deck. So, the last one we did was Demise, so here we have DDD. So DDD got 2 cards in Soul Fusion. It got the High King Genghis, which I've been waiting forever for that card to come out. I'm so glad we finally got it. And we got Purple Armageddon. Don't know why it took him so long to come out. And for those asking if I am going to do an updated Fluffle deck, I actually do have some Fluffle cards, and where are they at? 3 patchwork, along with some new stuff. So I do want to do a Fluffle deck. I just have to get it from one of my friends, because they have it currently. But anyways, that's enough of that. Let's talk about the monsters, spells, and traps. This deck actually is quite a bit different from the last DDD deck that I did. I'm very excited to show this one off. But the monster lineups in DDDs don't really change too much between builds, but these, the one of monsters usually do. But for starters, we're playing 3 Savant Kepler. They're your Searcher. Searches a Dark Contract when he's normal or special summoned, and can also bounce stuff back to the hand, I believe. But that's not the effect that you're using. Then we're using 3 DD Lamia, your level 1 tuner that can revive itself in the graveyard by either discarding or sending a DD or Dark Contract from the grave, from field to grave, and special summon itself, but banish it when it leaves the field. This card's broken. This card's nuts. Then I'm actually going to put the really nice one on top. We, of course, have 3 DD Swirl Slime. This is your Fuse from hand card. Very cool. You can also banish it from your... So not only can it use materials from the hand to fusion summon a DD monster, you can also banish it from the graveyard to special summon a DD monster from your hand. So very useful. And to pair with our Swirl Slimes, of course, we have 3 DD Necro Slimes. This, you banish it and materials from the graveyard and fusion summon a DD monster using materials in your grave. So very cool card. Then, I believe this is our last 3 of, we have 3 DD Abyss King Ragnarok, or Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. Dude is nuts. Why is in the scale? When a DD monster is special summoned, you can target a DD monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and you take 1,000 damage, and your opponent takes half battle damage for the rest of the turn. Or when this monster is summoned, normal or special summoned, you get to target a DD monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Then you can also tribute this card, tribute a DD monster you control, and banish a monster your opponent controls. So super cool card. This used to be one of my favorite monsters in the game. This was my favorite deck for a very long time, but sadly, with the advent of Links and the fact that DDs don't have their own double helix, it makes the deck a little hard to play. But that's it for the 3 of DDs. Let's talk about the other ones. So we have 2 DD Savant Thomas. When this card is special summoned or just summoned in general? It's just once per turn. Alright. So you can target a DD, so his pendulum effect doesn't really matter because you're never going to use it, but his monster effect is that you can target a DD monster in your pendulum zone, destroy it, and then you can summon a level 8 DDD monster from your deck, but its effects are negated. So very cool card. And then for the last 2 we play 2 Copernicus. Again, scale effect doesn't matter, but his monster effect is if this card is normal or special summoned, you can summon 1 Dark Contract or DD monster from your deck to the graveyard. So Foolish Burial for the entire deck. And for our one-ofs, we have 1 DD Ghost for our Allure of Darkness to recover banished DD monsters, and 1 DD Night Howl. I actually would love to bump DD Night Howl up, because when he's normal summoned, you get to target a DD monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but it locks you into Fiends. That's okay, because Fiends have a link too, and all the DD monsters are Fiends. So this guy actually is really cool. He's also a level 3 tuner, so he allows for some interesting plays. I like him a lot, and I wish I played another copy, but I don't know where another one is. I honestly would take out the Ghost, or like maybe even cut down the Necro Slime to 2 for another Night Howl, just because of the recursion that he allows. So, but there we go. That is the monster lineup. So yeah, it's changed. It's a little. The monsters are a little bit more consistent. You're gonna see these guys a little bit more than you're gonna see what I had originally, which was like Night Howl and crap like that. So let's talk about the spells. Which, of course, I've also updated my spell lineup. So, for the Dark Contracts, I'm playing 3 Dark Contract with the Gate. This is a Rota for the entire deck, and of course, like all Dark Contracts, it burns you for 1,000 in the standby phase. And then I'm also playing 2 Swamp King. I originally cut this down to 1 in my last deck profile, but I like playing it at 2. I found that I wanted to see a second copy of it, and that getting the other copy out of the graveyard using the... who is it? Siegfried, I think, grabs it, or does Siegfried gain you 100? It might be, it could be Genghis, I guess. I forget which one it is off the top of my head. But the one that grabs back a Dark Contra, Kali Yuga does it too. But I like having this because fusioning is like the main way you get started in this deck. So those are the Dark Contracts of the deck. Set those to the side. Of course, we are playing 3 Allure of Darkness. This is a dark deck, and it needs a little bit more consistency. So 3 Allures to help with the banishing thing, because this deck does banish a lot. 2 Burial from a different dimension. This card also went to 3, but playing the 2 is just fine. I'm also playing 2 Mind Control. This card is nutty. You can use monsters your opponent controls to like Synchro summon, I believe, right? But it can't declare an attack or be tributed. You can link off with it. You can do a bunch of stuff with this. This is really cool, especially since you can like steal an extra deck monster and then go into like Zephyr Metaltron. So, as well as that, then for our one-up spells, I'm playing Card Destruction to search stuff. This deck loves having stuff in the graveyard, so Card Destruction doesn't hurt. 1-for-1 to summon either Kepler or Lamia, or even like Necro Slime if you really need to get that Ragnarok effect off. Monster Reborn to pair with our Card Destruction, and then Raigeki to pop monsters on the opponent's field. So there we go. Some pretty, in my opinion, some pretty decent stuff. I know I'm blazing through this deck profile. Like it's just going. There's not a lot of new stuff in here. There's not a lot of new stuff until the extra deck. For traps, I'm playing 3 small Solemn Package. You can play a bigger Solemn Package if you want. These are the ones that I put in this deck because I don't have like 5 Judgments. I only have 2. Let's talk about the extra. The extra is where this deck gets fun because this is where all the new stuff is. So we, of course, have 2 Little Genghis, which, as you know, whenever a DD monster is special summoned, you get a targeted DD in your graveyard and special summon it. Very cool card, very useful starter card, but now we have High Genghis, and High Genghis is awesome. So, like I said, I've been waiting a little while for this card, so you're going to have to bear with me while I read it. I do know that he gets to summon a DD monster whenever a DD is normal or special summon, so I'll put him on the right there. If another DD monster is normal or special summoned to your field while you control this monster, except during damage step, you can target a DD monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You can only use this effect to DDD High Genghis once per turn. Once per turn, when a spell or trap card or its effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate its activation. 2800 attack, needs a level 5 or higher DD monster, and then another DD monster. So, just a fantastic card. It doesn't sound much different from Genghis, but holy crap is this card good. Like, it's so much better. And it deserved to be a super, realistically, but it's okay. I will accept that it's a common, and it just made it so much easier to get. I pulled that card and I was so happy. Oracle, because she's good, and then Beowulf, because he gives piercing damage, and lastly we have Purple. So I don't play any of the other Armageddon extra deck monsters, any of the other DD Pendulum extra deck monsters, but I read Purple Armageddon and I was like, that's kind of cool. So again, I'm going to flip him around and I will read his monster effect first. So his monster effect, he needs 2 DDD monsters, 35, 3000, so big boy. You can target 1 attack position monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its original attack. You can only use this effect to DDD Purple Armageddon once per turn. Before damage calculation, if opponent's monster battles, you can make its attack become equal to its original attack until the end of the damage step. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, put it in your pendulum zone. Once per turn, and then its pendulum effect is once per turn during damage calculation. If your DDD fusion monster before your DDD battles an opponent's monster, you can make that opponent's monster lose 1000 attack until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. So I felt that I don't know why, I just have like an affinity for like battle focused stuff, but I also felt that like just knocking an opponent's monster out was better than all the other ones, because like I have the Synchro one like on me. Hang on, I have it like set off to the side somewhere. Give me a moment. Maybe I don't. I thought I did. Oh no. Oh no. That's okay. But yeah, I felt that this is the best Armageddon extra deck monster that we have. So and also had space, so I was like, oh sure, I'll run it. That's it for the fusions. For Synchros, we only run 3. We have Alexander, because he revives stuff. We have Siegfried, because he negates stuff. And we have Crystal Wing, because after we make Alexander, we make Crystal Wing, and he negates stuff too. So we run so this is just to get to these two, and they negate stuff. That's why we play him. So there you go. For our Xyz monsters, we play Kali Yuga because he negates stuff, and we play Hope Harbinger because he negates stuff. You get the theme here, that it all negates stuff. That's the point of DDD, is to negate stuff. For our Link monsters, we have Link Kuriboh because there's a level 1 and there's a combo you do that that you need Link Kuriboh for. Master King Archfiend because he's the Fiend Link monster, even though he doesn't really help any Fiend decks, namely this one. He doesn't help this one at all. Wee Witch Apprentice, she actually does help. She's not too bad. She is part of the combo that ends on like Hope Harbinger and Siegfried, I believe. And then Zephyr Metaltron because he's cool. This should be Electromite. I should have an Electromite, but I don't, and I just haven't gotten around to picking one up. So I am sorry to everyone who wants this deck to have Electromite. But as for other cards that you can play in this deck, because this deck does have some other plays, I was gonna put in Transmodifies because there are some plays where like you go into where you summon D-Arc, activate Transmodify to summon Ragnarok from deck, and then Ragnarok will trigger to summon what's her name, D-Arc from the graveyard, and then that will give you the 2 monsters you need. I did think about playing the Kaiju. I thought about playing, I used to play Pot of Acquisitiveness, and I used to play Armageddon, so these are all things that you can play. And then Vice Typhoon, or Typhon, not Typhoon. I did think about playing this for a hot minute, and then I was like, no, I didn't think it was that good. So those are all things that you can do. Probably the most useful one would have been Transmodify because of the way that it works, and also like you can summon like more stuff with it, downbeat even. But aside from that, that is the DDD deck. And I know I kind of blazed like straight through this deck profile, but there's not a lot super new with it. I mean, we got the new Genghis, which is fantastic. I do feel that this deck build is a bit better than my last one, but until DDDs get their own Link monster, it really isn't going to be, there's not much we can really do to improve this deck. But yeah, anyways, as always, tell me what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.